Yeah, the pain normalizes. I started finding myself like enjoying other, not enjoying, it sounds like kind of sick, but like not, like I used to really not like needles. And I started being like, obviously going to the hospital a lot, you're going to get a lot of needles
Yeah.
and IVs and stuff. And I started just like, really like, let's watch the needle go in. Let's like enjoy like this different sensation of feeling versus what I'm
Yep.
always feeling.
Welcome to Shit Talk, where we get down to the real shit that comes with life with chronic illness and IBD. I'm your host, Mariam Khan, aka the Chronically Illfluencer. Now let's get ready to talk shit. Today we have our guest Rob Nunnery, a pro pickleball champion who was #1 in men's doubles in 2023 and 2024. Rob currently holds 19 titles in pickleball, but he's more focused on something else these days. His recovery with perianal Crohn's disease, a disease that I myself am very, very familiar with and have been struggling with for the past 5 years. Hi, Rob. How are you doing?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm okay, hanging in there. I know you had a procedure, but I want to, before we even go into that, I just want to talk about you, like what has been going on for you, what's new and exciting for you besides, surgery and everything, like your life in general. Like, how's that going?
It's going slow.
Yeah.
I had my proctectomy at the end of January, January 29th, and I got I basically it was 2 months of don't do anything other than basically walk and don't sit for too long, don't stand for too long, lay on your side, just
Yep.
it's yeah, and just get a little stir crazy. So I just found myself walking more than doing anything else, which was it was good because I haven't really gone on walks before, and it slowed me down, which was nice. But it's just been very slow. But in a sense, outside of the physical healing, just like very healing in respect to like letting me recalibrate on life. It feels like I've gone 100 miles per hour the last 4 years while being in pain.
Yeah.
And it's been a time where it was like coming into 2026, I was like, I just want to focus on my health and nothing else this year because it has to get solved or there has to be something that changes because my quality of life had gotten to be very bad. So, fast forwarding basically 2.5 months since my procedure, I'm in so much less pain, which I'm so grateful for. Still kind of easing back into life, if you will, and doing a bit more activity and still not back to speed on any of that stuff, but I've never been more grateful for how I feel right now. And I think, going through the stuff that we've been through, you start to learn, how precious health is and feeling okay is.
Yeah. When it comes to not sitting for so long, I remember, ooh, my hips hurt so bad from laying on my side I had the fistula since like 2021, and I still have one now, but it's a lot smaller and way more manageable and doesn't like cause random flare-ups the same way it used to.
Yeah.
And God, not being able to sit was just the worst. Having to take like a seat cushion everywhere I went. I only just started like coming off of it, so I know what you're talking about, and it's not fun. But I'm really glad that at least you're not in that awful like pain phase because
Mm.
I remember exactly how that felt. Like that's not something I could ever forget. And I before all this was also very sick. Like I was born with chronic kidney disease and
Mm.
my life was like in the hospital really. But at the time it was still manageable. I thought like the worst thing that was going to happen to me was getting my kidney removed. And then when I went and got the fistulas and I got the colostomy and all this stuff happened, I was like, by the time I actually got my kidney removed, I was like, this is nothing. Like this, I don't even feel pain compared to
Mm.
everything else.
Yeah.
So for people who don't know, what is like a protectomy? What is an APR? Like, what is that procedure really entail?
Yeah, it's essentially removing. Well, for me, I had a diverting loop colostomy in February of last year, 2025, and with the goal being to just wait to divert waste from going through my bottom because I have perianal Crohn's disease, and the goal was to give my bottom a break so that the fistulas would hopefully heal. And for me, they ultimately didn't, and they kept, the drainage was still heavy, new tracts kept forming. So talking to my colorectal surgeon, we opted to do the proctectomy, which as well as an end colostomy. So basically changing the temporary colostomy to basically an end permanent colostomy. So she did that. She basically stopped the GI tract right there, and then basically removed everything from the colostomy down, the rest of the colon, the rectum, sewed up the anus, and that's essentially what a proctectomy is removing the rectum and having an ostomy be a permanent solution for me. So yeah, like I said, it's been surprisingly a tough recovery. I didn't expect it to be nearly as hard as it was. I heard it was going to be hard, but I got through the loop colostomy like pretty easily, in all honesty. Like I didn't think the recovery was that difficult for me anyways, and maybe because I was so active. But man, the proctectomy has just been so slow.
Yeah.
And even, I say it's slow, but there's a lot of people that, it's still probably fast in the grand scheme of things. It's been slow for, I guess, my expectation, but I know there's lots of people it takes a year plus to heal, and I'm grateful that I'm a couple months out and doing okay.
Yeah, I remember, I think I was 23 going on 24 when I got my colostomy, and it was an emergency situation, but after I got it, they were like, you're going to be driving in 2 weeks. I didn't believe that, and then I was totally fine to do everything, so I went in the same mindset. I was like, oh, I've already had an ostomy, and at the time, like, I didn't have a loop ostomy, it was just, like, an end colostomy, but they still didn't remove, like, my colon, my rectum, or my anus at that point, and then I had the same issue where, like, I still kept forming the tracts, and there was still, like, mucus and stuff going into the tracks, so I had to end up getting the APR as well. And I remember, like, I woke up and I was just like, this is gonna be rough. Like, I just kind of knew going into it, and I ended up having actually complications after mine where I, like, I see your story, and it really resonates with me because I saw, like, the complications you were having after yours with, like, even pulling out the drain, and that, like, when I saw that, I just kind of was like, oh my God. Like, I was so upset, and I was like, this is not fair, because I knew how that felt, and I had, like, that deep pelvic pain, not knowing what was happening. Mine, unfortunately, went on way longer, and to the point where I went septic, and then I had to get a muscle graft taken from my left leg, so, like, my muscle's still attached to the left leg, but it was pulled into my pelvis, which was probably the worst surgery I've ever had. Like, I couldn't walk for, I think, 3 months. It was rough. And they don't warn you. Like, they did not warn me that these complications could happen. I don't know. I guess I thought that I, like, healed well or something, and that wouldn't happen to me. And lo and behold, it did happen to me. And I was like, wow, okay, I'm not special.
Yeah,
These things just happen.
It's been a very, like, surprising part of my journey is that, I don't know, before I got sick, because I didn't get sick until really 4 years ago. I had, in hindsight, I can look back to childhood and see that I've had perianal issues for a long time, but it didn't really get to the point of where there was no, like, I couldn't push it down anymore. Like, it came to a head about 4 years ago. But prior to that, I never really had too many health issues. I had like a broken wrist when I was a kid, but like nothing really.
Yeah.
And I always thought that, you get sick, you go to the doctor, it's very straightforward on how to fix it, and then they give you the medicine or they give you the procedure, and then you're good.
Yeah.
And this whole journey's been like that. It is not like that.
No.
Like, anything can happen. They don't always know what actually is going on, because especially with IBD, it's tough. There's so many different versions of it, and it's really hard to pinpoint. Like, something that heals one person won't do anything for the next person, and it's just there's such a variance to the treatments that it's been a big eye-opener of really needing to educate myself on IBD and ostomies and Crohn's and perianal fistulizing Crohn's, and trying to, like, take that into my own hands a little bit, because you have to be your own best advocate, because nobody cares as much as you do.
No. Yeah, to be fair, like, even though I grew up with illness, everything was so cut and dry. It was just, okay, we're going to do this exact procedure, you're going to feel better, and that's always what happened. So I expected the same thing when this hit, and I was like, oh, there's going to be something easy, you know? And then they were like, actually, we don't know why this is happening. And I was like, what do you mean? And then it was like going to different doctors being like, actually, I don't even know what you have. I was undiagnosed for like 3 years. They kept thinking it was like a cyst or just like a random like failed procedure from a cyst. And then they kept treating it as something wrong the whole time. And then I found out actually after the APR, which is kind of ridiculous that I went through like ostomy, APR, everything without even knowing that I had Crohn's. So I wasn't on meds. I did not heal well because I wasn't on meds. And it was just like, it was losing that faith kind of in the healthcare system to really realize, and like just realize in life, right? Like this is just not going to be as easy as we thought. Unfortunately, that's like a lot of things in life. And I don't think I learned that until this happened, because I just thought, well, of course people are going to want to take care of my pain. Like, of course, like no one's going to let me go home like this. And then they do. And you're like, well, what do you mean I have to live with this now? Like, I have to sit here and drain a fistula every day by myself. Like, that's awful. And no one thinks about that. And it's like, until it hits, you just have no idea that that's what life could be like.
The fistulas,
so,
fistulas aren't fun.
No, they're definitely not fun, as you so aptly put on your hat. Fuck fistulas, right? Oh, God. So, in that same breath, I wanted to know, I guess, what was your, like, journey to get diagnosed? You know, like, how long were you having symptoms before you were ever diagnosed? How did you even find out?
Yeah, so first symptoms came on in March of 2022, and it was basically, I thought it was maybe like hemorrhoids or something. I just knew I had like a pain in my bottom, and it eventually got to the point where I was like, okay, I got to go to urgent care. And they thought it was like a cyst or something as well. And they referred me to a general surgeon who also didn't really know what it was. And he referred me to the ER, all of this in the same day. And I went to the ER for a CT scan, and they didn't really know what they were looking at either. So they sent me back to the general surgeon. And then the general surgeon was just like, okay, well, maybe we can just like cut into you and see if there's any fluid that we can drain. I'm just like, okay. So that was March 2022, and went through basically 15 months of not being diagnosed. I eventually had ceton drains placed in the summer of 2022 at a random pro pickleball stop in Austin, Texas, because the pain was so bad. So I went and saw a colorectal surgeon, and they did an exam under anesthesia, put in drains, didn't really give me any like discharge information. I thought honestly that they'd be in for like a couple weeks or maybe a month, and then I'd get it removed and I'd be healed.
Yep.
And not the case. So had those drains in until, well, kept them in for basically the entire till I had the proctectomy, but didn't get diagnosed until May 2023. So I was about 15 months of being undiagnosed and just dealing with kind of recurring fistulas and abscesses, even with the drains in.
They didn't even diagnose it, like, when you went to get the cetons? Okay.
No, we didn't even do like imaging. It was just straight up like, let's just put you under and we'll dig in down there. And,
Wait, really? That's, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the issue was that at the time I had a torn meniscus, and I was trying to get a surgery for the meniscus as quick as I could. And the orthopedic surgeon wouldn't do surgery on the knee because I told him about the infection I had in my bottom. And since nobody knew what it was, they didn't want to risk doing that surgery in case of infection. So he was just like, I'll refer you to a colorectal surgeon, see if they can do something for you. If you get that treated, then we can try to do the knee surgery. So like,
this entire time before you even went to the colorectal, you were still having, like, symptoms? Or, like, was your fistula, like, draining? What was happening?
Yeah, so before I had the drains placed, it was really not good. I was basically getting like incision and drainage constantly, and
oh my God,
trying to drain it myself, it was not good. It was brutal. I don't know how, like looking back, I don't know how or why I did that so long. But yeah, it was, I've got pictures in my phone of like in hotel rooms of just like the amount of drainage that was coming out, and it's not good.
Oh my God.
But yeah, so got diagnosed May 2023 at Mayo Clinic in Florida, and I was so relieved to be diagnosed. I didn't know what Crohn's disease was, to be honest. I even at that point, having research stuff, I didn't even think perianal Crohn's disease was like even on the table. I just had no idea what it was. I just thought I had like something that wouldn't go away. But getting the diagnosis, I was like, okay, well, surely now that we know what it is, it'll be very straightforward, and I'll get treated for it, and then I'll be good. But I didn't realize it would be like, okay, you need to try this for a while, see if it works. If it doesn't, we can try something else for a while, see if it works. And it was basically like, that's what I didn't understand, is like to try each new thing, you have to give it 3 months, 6 months to see if it'll actually even work. And it's just such a slow grind of a disease where there's no, like people ask, like, why didn't you get the proctectomy like right away? And it's like, well,
who wants to do that? That's a crazy first step. Yeah.
Yeah, let's just remove the rectum right off without knowing if like Remicade getting an infusion once a month could work, or obviously that would be ideal if I just did Remicade and it's solved everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it didn't. Tried a bunch of different biologics and obviously had the drains in, did the loop colostomy, and
you just have to
try. Yeah, you have to. I mean, you have to try it in a stage process, though. You can't just go to the most drastic measure right out of the gate.
No, but it's exhausting, and no one warned me either, right? Like, you don't realize that it takes years off your life. It's not just like, oh, I'm gonna be fine in 6 to 8 weeks. I used to freak out when people would be like, your recovery 6 to 8 weeks. I was like, how could I possibly spend 6 to 8 weeks recovering? And now I'm like, that would be a dream, to just be like 6 to 8 weeks and you're fine. Like, that's amazing. And like, God, I remember, because mine was so reversed that I didn't even have a diagnosis before. So like, I wasn't even put on biologics, and I had the opposite reaction as you. Like, when I found out I had Crohn's, I was so upset. Because I was like, oh my God, this is another like chronic thing. I have to live with this for the rest of my life. And no one told me at the time, like, okay, we have treatments available for it, like outside of surgery. Because I just kept going surgery after surgery after surgery. I think I had Cetons. God, I don't know how many times I had them placed. Within 3 years, I had surgery 30 times, which was like, I don't think I was lucid. Like, mentally, I was like out of it, because how could you? Like, every single month you're drugged.
Crazy pull on the body too. Like,
crazy.
Just the fatigue and what that does. Like, your body's just constantly fighting.
I had no idea that was like, I didn't know what headspace I was in until I came out of it. You know what I mean? Like, after I came out, I was like, the brain fog was insane. I also just felt like I aged like 5 years after that. It was a lot, but God, it was the same thing where like getting diagnosed took forever. They kept mistaking it for different things, and it was just so frustrating, because they would also like, I don't think I had a fistulogram or any imaging done also until probably 2 years in, like before the APR. They just didn't think, I don't know why. They just didn't think, oh, let's get imaging and figure out what's going on. It was just like, your body's just being weird. Okay.
Yeah. Who were you seeing? Like, what specialist? Was that GI and colorectal, or who were you?
No, so they didn't even send me to a GI until 2024, which is when I got diagnosed from the GI. So before that, I was just seeing a general surgeon. Then I went to colorectal. I even went to oncology, because they were like, cancer doctors know what they're doing. They're very, educated in random things. They didn't even know what was going on. I went to plastics. I did go to colorectal the first year, but they just thought, they didn't even diagnose it. They just thought it was like some weird tract thing happening. And they were like, we'll just have to, same thing, right? Let's just cut it open and see what happens. And they did. And I had like non-healing wounds forever. It was a whole thing. And by the time I got diagnosed, I was so upset. But then I started Remicade, started feeling a lot better. And then the Remicade gave me drug-induced lupus, so then I had to come off of the Remicade a year later, which was not fun. So still trying out different biologics now, and right now I'm not on any, because it's exhausting. I don't know if this is even a term. I saw it mentioned in a medical article, like I think fistula fatigue. That's where I'm at. I'm like, I
Yeah.
just don't care right now, and I'm at the point where I'm like, do whatever you want, as long as I can live my life and it's manageable enough. I'm just
Yeah.
not. Whatever. It's better than wherever I was at before.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%. I don't know if
And
that's a medical term either, but I like it. Fistula
yeah,
fatigue is it's a real thing for sure. So
it sounds so.
you still have fistulas right now?
I have one. So they managed to close off, like, I had two openings. They managed to close off one of them last year.
Hmm.
So they want to wait until I'm on biologics again to redo the same procedure to close off the next one. But every biologic I'm trying is giving me an allergic reaction. So I'm kind of afraid to try the next one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm
Where are
set
they
to
at
start.
if you had the APR, right?
I did.
So where are
Um,
the fistulas forming?
So I had one that was like an opening on the left side of like my lower butt cheek is the best way I could put it. And then the other is like right in like the perianal area, like just like right there. And it's like it goes up. Like it's not it doesn't loop around to anywhere. It just kind of goes
Hmm.
up and like refills, drains, and then like goes dormant for a bit, and then it just kind of decides when to act up.
Hmm.
The joyous thing about being a woman is that I also get a period, so then every time I get that, it loves to flare up. So
Yeah.
very, very
Any
irritating.
activity, right? Any activity will irritate it. I
Yeah.
didn't, so that's so interesting because I had a bunch of active fistula tracts, but removing the rectum, like they connected to the rectum, and the fact that they're not connected there anymore, basically my fistulas have completely, they're not necessarily gone, but there's no inflammation. Like they still have to heal. The wound is still there
Yeah.
because she didn't do any procedure there. She's just going to let it heal from kind of inside out where she sewed it up. But how is it possible to have? Because this is something I actually don't
Yeah.
know. I just assumed with APR that the fistulas would heal.
That's what I thought. So then they did the muscle graft too, and they told me it would heal. But apparently, what I was told now from my surgeon is at Mount Sinai is that I had so much surgery and like a lot done in that area that there there's just like weak tissue there now, and it's just not healing the way it should be. So the fistula, because of the fact that it closed off in one area and it's not really like quote unquote active because I don't have a rectum,
Yeah.
it just kind of is the inflammation is left over, and it's really hard to clean that area out without an entire fistulotomy, which I'm just like not mentally prepared for. But then they did like a exam under anesthesia, and they like cleaned and scraped the area out, and it ended up closing out one of the tracks. So they're thinking, okay, let's try to repeat on the next one, and hopefully it works the same way. But yeah, I didn't think that either. I had no idea that it could still go on after that procedure.
What a
So
nightmare.
that was,
Yeah.
yeah, it was so not fun to find that out.
You have not had an easy go of it. It's like you try a
No,
biologic, you get a different disease, you get the APR, you still have fistulas. Like what a
yeah,
absolute disaster. I'm sorry.
no, thank you. But yeah, definitely
Yeah.
not easy. And I see like, I started feeling so much better after I got the diagnosis. But I see like when you post, right, about like your journey through it, and God, when you posted about the car accident happening, I was so upset because, like, literally right after my diagnosis, I got a concussion and whiplash, like,
Mm,
really bad. So I
yeah.
full on just, like, understood where
Mm,
you were at. How are you recovering from that, though? Like, has it been causing you any
mm.
grief?
Definitely pain actually, like in the neck, and like it's been a delayed kind of onset, but also like the left collarbone. So I was in the driver's seat and got hit on the kind of the left rear end, and I guess it went jerked that way, but I didn't notice it until probably a couple weeks ago. But the collarbone here and like into the chest even has been very sore. But again, it's
Yeah.
you know, I it's it's just absurd. Just like so, just like the going back to that moment is my first time driving, and I was just like, okay, look, back to normal life, kind of. Here we go,
Yep.
and then just boom, like sitting at a red light, listening to music, and just, psh, yeah, I couldn't believe it. I was just like,
God.
you've got to be kidding me. There's no way this happened right now.
That's so awful. And like I mean, you said something about like what going black. Like, did you get
Yeah,
concussed too, or like was it just kind
it
of
had
shock
to.
of it?
Yeah, it had to be a mild concussion because it was like eyes were open for a minute and couldn't see, and then it kind of came to.
Oh my god.
But yeah, the only other time I've had that was in a car wreck when I was a kid with no airbag, and we hit a tree head on, and I was black. I was like, couldn't see. I thought I was blind. I was like,
Oh
my
my
eyes were open. I'm like, I
god.
can't see. I started freaking out, like full panic. I was like, I'm blind. I lost my eyes. But it was just a bad concussion. And it was a little bit of the same, but just not that extreme. It was just like
Yeah.
eyes were open, but it kind of came to much quicker this time.
Oh my, that's horrifying.
But
I'm so
scary.
sorry that happened.
Scary.
No, and
Yeah.
like, aren't there moments like that where you're like, damn, I'm just being a good person trying to enjoy my life? It makes
Just
you kind of
like,
want to like be an asshole because you're like, well, it's
yeah,
like
I'm just
bad
like,
things
ah,
happen.
what a beautiful day. Like, man, I've been through a lot. This is so nice just to be outside and going somewhere.
No, God
Oh,
forbid you
yeah.
enjoy a moment. That like I was on vacation for the first time in like since COVID hit when I got my concussion. I was like with my sister. I was having so much fun. And I was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna like close this car trunk." Didn't know that there was a bike rack on the trunk, super heavy, like
Oh,
metal rack. Came down the left side of my head, and it just went like, ooh. I don't know what happened after that. I think I like dazed out for a sec. Couldn't balance
yeah.
or like walk for 3 months after that. It was so rough.
Yeah.
I actually got concussed again, like this December and this
Mm.
February. Also, random accidents, like just really
You gotta
stupid.
be
One of my,
careful.
I know, I need a
Walk
helmet.
around with a helmet on or
I'm
something.
just
Yeah.
gonna wear your hat and like put a helmet under it. No, it was like it was so stupid too. Like I came back from vacation and I like went to pull like a lever to move a seat in a minivan, and the lever just like
Mm.
the seat just headrest came down on my head, which was
Just
so
randomly.
fun. So
This
random.
is,
And then
yeah.
2 months later,
Like,
my
what?
friend elbowed me in the head at my own birthday party. So that was like so. That's why I'm like, I see you post things and I'm like, oh my god, you have like my horrible luck of just like stupid
What?
things
Yeah.
happening.
What did we do? What did we do in a past life to deserve
I don't
this?
know.
What
I'm
were we
like, who did
doing?
I piss off?
Was I a
Like,
serial killer in the last life? Like, what happened?
I don't know. And I'm like, dude, what, why? And like, I'm just gonna be a jerk now. Like, it's not fair. Like, I don't like being nice and having these things happen. It's not,
Yeah.
no. Oh my God. So, I mean, I guess with all of this, right? Like, you have a normal life, right? Like, you're trying to live a normal life with everything you're going through. I assume it's not easy, and your like mindset has definitely changed, right? Like going through all this.
Mm.
And I guess I want to know, like, since you do sports, I don't play sports, but you play
Yeah.
sports, and you have like this entire personality in life outside of your illness. Do you think that's going to change, like going through something like this? Like, how do you think your mindset, or even like physically, how is that going to change?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't quite know. I don't know how it's going to affect pickleball yet. It's I've eased back into activity a little bit, but I am not trying to push it right now. I don't I feel like if I'm ever going to be patient in my life, like now's the time to be patient and kind of ease back in slowly and make sure I've been stationary for a couple months, so just getting my legs back under me, trying to get them stronger. Honestly, I'm not too worried about pickleball and like where where that goes from here. I'm just grateful to be in less pain. Obviously, I'd like to compete again, but I've also I'm open to the fact that I'm just happy to be in less pain and be able to live a full life, because going into this year, that was all that mattered to me. The last 4 years of dealing with the pain and playing 35 weeks a year on the road was not sustainable. It
Yeah.
was exhausting. I was doing it with like full-on fistulas, nonstop, airplanes, playing with gauze in my cheeks. Like
Oh my God.
it was just exhausting, and the fatigue and everything that came with it was. I just hit a wall. I hit a wall where I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I have to just figure out my health, and so I'm just taking this time to like really recalibrate what I want to do in life, where I'm at. I just care most about being as healthy as I can be, just to get a decent quality of life back. And then from there, I'll kind of figure out where I want to go. A lot of it's going to depend on what my body gives me. It's not just the Crohn's or the proctectomy or the ostomy. I'm also turning
Yeah.
41 next month. So, it's an age thing as well, playing against
Yeah.
18-year-olds and 20-year-olds. So it's that aspect as well. But so, yeah, we'll see where it goes. I'm not going to put a lot of pressure on myself to get back on court and perform at the level that I think I can. Yeah, I'd like to play.
Yeah.
We'll see where it goes, though.
So, I mean, I saw that you also do like your own podcast, right? For like, what is it's for sports? Because the bag and paddle, like, it was a play on like Colostomy Bag, and then like the pickleball paddle. So, like, do you envision that you're gonna more lean into stuff like that, or like, do you think you're just kind of going to slow things down a little just to kind of catch up, like mentally?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Like bag and paddle, yeah. That's exactly right. It's not really like a sports focused podcast necessarily. It's more bag and paddle, on my end, and I just will have conversations with other ostomates, other people in chronic illness community, and I'm just kind of leaning into doing things that I want to try out and like. I have podcasts on pickleball as well, so podcasting I'm not new to,
Yeah.
but I've done a few episodes of bag and paddle and had really fun conversations with interesting people. So I'll probably do more of that, and also not trying to put a lot of pressure on myself to make it something. I'm just
Yeah.
trying to lean into doing stuff that I feel like can add value to the ostomy community, to the chronic illness community. And I just think if I let that be the focus and the lens that I view things through, of trying to be of use and be of value to others and help them in some way, then wherever that
Yeah.
ends up going is good enough for me, kind of. Yeah.
So, like, how you're so open, right? Like, you were very vulnerable about like everything you go through. I know that when I was going through it, I couldn't even imagine, or I guess I just like didn't even think about talking about any of this because it was just so. It was one of those things where I thought I had to like hide what I was going through just because like it would be embarrassing, and I had family members, unfortunately, that were just like, oh, what are you gonna get? Like your colostomy bag removed? Like they weren't very accepting, a lot of people. And so I was scared to be vulnerable for a very long time. What made you want to actually like be vulnerable and like share your story, and like how did you even start doing that?
Yeah, it's a good question, and I don't really know, to be honest. I just figured if I have to go through this, I think sharing it is probably, it's not fun to talk about, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like sharing, it's really not, especially when I'm used to talking about like pickleball and strategy about that. And
Yeah.
it was a very different topic, and I think I just tried to look at it as if I'm scared to share this, then, and I'm scared to talk about it, then somebody else probably needs to see it. It'll probably help somebody. It would help me if I saw it. And that's kind of just the way I looked at it. And yeah, I don't know. It's not the most fun topic, let's be honest,
No.
but it's I do get a real sense of purpose and meaning, more so than anything else I've ever done in my life, in respect to not even just work, but anything. To have somebody say like that's really helped them, like there's nothing more I can do with my time on
Yeah.
on this earth with doing something that helps somebody else. So I've gotten a lot of purpose and meaning through it.
Yeah. I mean, I see the comments on your post, right? And people are always so, like, mostly very supportive. And, like, people share, like, what they go through, too. And, I get a lot of comments on TikTok as well where people are sharing, like, their medical journey. But is there ever a time, I mean, I feel this way, but does it ever feel overwhelming for you to, like, have to, like, to see those comments or see people talk about their journey, and if it's, like, very complicated and it's, like, hard to read? Like, how does that feel?
Yeah, it can get to be a lot,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't like an emotional weight that I don't
Yeah.
really know how to disassociate from. Especially with a lot of the DMs. Like I tried to
Oh,
answer a
yeah.
lot of them for a while, and yeah, a lot of them are really heartbreaking to be
Yeah.
honest. And it makes me think about like, man, well, how do therapists do it? How do they like disconnect from like talking to clients and then go home and just like have a lighthearted dinner with their
Yeah.
partner or their family? It's like, Yeah, it's been I don't know.
Yeah.
It does. The answer is listen, yes, it does get pretty heavy, and I try to help as much as I can. I try to reply to as many comments as I can,
Yeah.
but it does. Yeah, there's a weight to it for
It's a
sure,
lot.
and I do think that people sharing how it's helped them, like that's what kind of keeps me going with it.
Yeah.
A lot of people are just kind of like unloading because maybe they have no other outlet, but
Yeah.
the ones where it helps people feel like less alone in their journey is, those that's all I could ask for.
Yeah. I think I definitely also had to learn how to hit pause on like not letting it affect me. I was like in the same boat, right? I used to think I could be a therapist, and then when this started happening, I was like, there's no way.
My own
I
stuff.
can't. No.
I got
It's
enough
like
problems right here.
I know. It's like, God, I need therapy for myself. No, and it's like, I equate it, right? Like, obviously not the same level, but I think about how, like, doctors and, like, people work in the ER and then they go home and they have to just deal with it. I can't imagine ever seeing all that, like, up close. And just, like, reading comments is enough for me to be like, whoa, okay, I can't deal with that right now. But it's the same thing, right? I'll get, like, DMs, and most of them are very supportive. I've had a few people, though, like, ask me for medical advice, and I've had to be like, no, please see a doctor. I feel bad too because it's hard, right? Because I see people who like don't maybe have the resources to get the kind of care that we get. And I know that like you went to Mayo Clinic. How has that been actually? Because I was going to go there, but then I ended up going to Mount Sinai, and I guess I'm just genuinely curious. How was that whole process of like going to Mayo Clinic, and like what was that even like?
Yeah, Mayo's great in respect to my colorectal surgeon. She was amazing.
Yeah.
My, it's it's been it's a mixed bag to be honest. You hear Mayo and you hear like this prestigious institution, medical institution, and you think it's kind of like the best of the best. Same with Mount
Yeah.
Sinai. It's kind of
Yeah.
the same vein of prestige, I would say. And what I've seen with Mayo is that I mean, they have beautiful waiting rooms, really nice furniture.
Yeah.
They spend a lot of money on their grounds and the landscaping, and it's a phenomenal facility in Florida. It's the only one I've been to. I haven't been to
Yeah.
Minnesota or Arizona. Really hard to see my GI, hard to get an appointment, hard to actually not see a nurse practitioner. It's nice that all the care is coordinated. The colorectal can see the GI's notes, and all of that's really nice to have coordinated,
Yeah.
multidisciplinary care. The care throughout my stay at Mayo, not fantastic, if I'm going
Yeah.
to be honest. Actually, way below fantastic. So while I've had phenomenal experience with colorectal, all of the other aspects have not been super.
Yeah. I know that's like kind of what scared me, right? Because same thing, right? Like I hear how great Mayo is, and I'm like, oh, maybe. I mean, I ended up going to Mount Sinai because it's closer, but I remember I even made
Yeah.
an appointment in Jacksonville, Florida. But it was a whole process of like going there, then having to. I don't live in Florida, so I'd have to like take a flight
Yeah.
and go, and so I never knew like, is this worth it? Is it not? Are they gonna tell me the same thing I've heard a million times?
Yeah.
But do you think like they actually like heard you out and actually like really listen to what you were going through, or do you feel like it was kind of just standard as like to normal doctors you've been
No, I
to?
think they did. I think they did
Yeah.
listen. I think, if anything, I was a bit of my own worst enemy because I was not a good especially at the beginning. I was not a good advocate for myself. I would just kind of downplay like what I was going through, and not really give them the.
Yeah.
It's such a it's a tough disease because like I'll be miserable one minute and then I'll feel okay the next minute, and then I'll tell
Yeah.
them I'll see the doctor when I feel okay, and I'm like I'm okay right now, even though yesterday or the last before I came I was terrible and in a ton of pain and stuff was going on. And so that it was more of a me issue for a while of like not just being like this, none of the stuff is normal. Yeah, it comes and goes, but like this is not okay to keep living like this.
Yeah.
And I did that for probably far too long.
It sucks too because you feel like you're like if you like say that you feel pain but you're not in pain at the moment, you're like, I'm lying. And it's like, no,
Yeah, it feels like a
you're
little,
not.
yeah, yeah, exactly. That's so true. I didn't really think about that, but that definitely plays a part. It's like, do I just tell them I'm in pain even though I feel okay now because I felt bad yesterday, and then I know I'm going to feel bad soon, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, and learning to be your own advocate is actually really, really rough. I guess like I thought that everyone would fight for me, and then I realized I'm the only one there to fight for myself, and that's the only way I got my diagnosis, was just like fighting people and being like, "Hello, am I like what's going on? Like, why do we keep doing this?" Someone give me an answer, and then it's not fun. But I thankfully also had my sister who really, really fought for me. But like, did you have like anyone to like lean on or help fight for you when you were going through this?
I did. I had an ex-girlfriend or partner that was great in those environments. Her mom had gone through a lot of medical stuff, and she kind of taught me to be a better advocate for myself, and she was a strong advocate for me. I'd be, she'd come to appointments, and I'd be like, I'm okay. And she'd be like, no, he's not. So like,
Yeah.
that did teach me, like, for the first time, like, you have to speak up for yourself. And even though you're okay now, you have to tell them, because you also, as I said with GI, for example, like, appointments are hard to come by. So once you get into that appointment, this is your time. You're not going to be able to chat every bit with it. Like, take advantage of your moment here. So
Yeah. I started writing a notes app because I like black out in doctor's appointments. I like don't know what's happening.
yeah.
So to start writing every symptom down and being like, this is how I've been feeling. It's rough. I'm sure you've been through a similar thing.
Yeah, my therapist like started to tell me to create a journal, like a pain journal of like every time, because I'd go through these moments of like, I think I felt okay the last week. And then I'd go through my journal and be like, oh, there's not a single day where you weren't in pain. Just because like it's so hard to track, because like if you feel good in the moment, you try to forget about everything else, and you're just like trying to focus on feeling okay. And then you downplay how bad you feel. That's been a hard thing throughout the whole diagnosis for me, is like actually understanding how bad it actually was. Because as you mentioned brain fog earlier, is like I got on the other side of the proctectomy, and like the clouds parted, the sun came out, and I felt like I could actually see and think for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how bad it was.
No, and it's like you rate it on a scale of like ER pain or like chilling at home pain. So it's like, how do you know what kind of level of pain you're in unless it's like an actual emergency, right? You're so used to feeling something that's like really bad that anything else compared to it, you're like, this isn't nearly half as bad. And it's so hard because you downplay yourself. You like second guess it.
Yeah, the pain normalizes. I started finding myself like enjoying not enjoying, it sounds like kind of sick, but like not, like I used to really not like needles, and I started being like, obviously going to the hospital, you're going to get a lot of needles and IVs and stuff. And I started just like, really like, let's watch the needle go in. Let's like enjoy like this different sensation of feeling versus what I'm always feeling. And I started being like, wow, this feels kind of nice because it's just different than this like unrelenting deep pain that I always feel.
I know. That's like the other day I stubbed my toe and like half my toenail came off, which is so gross. But I was like, wow.
Like, oh,
I was like,
nice.
this is so, and I'm like showing my family, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like half my toenail came off. They're like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, no, this is like, I know it's gonna go away, so I'm not even afraid of it.
It'll grow back. It's fine.
Yeah. It makes you really like just kind of feel insane when you go through this, and normal people hear you talk and they're like, whoa, like this is so different compared to anything they could ever go through. And you're kind of like, wow, I have a sick sense of humor now, but it's like the only thing that gets you through it.
And it's hard. Like, this is another thing, is like before I got sick, I lived basically 36 years of my life not knowing what chronic pain was or what it meant. Like, I'd hear it and I'd be like, all right, so you're just like, you don't feel well a lot of the time. But I could not relate to it. Like, I could not relate to it at all. And then you feel it and you're like, oh, this is not good. It's chronic pain, and chronic illness is way worse than I thought.
Yeah.
And for somebody that hasn't lived it, it's just so hard to, it's almost impossible to explain to them what it is.
It's so hard, and also like on days when you're feeling well, you like gaslight yourself. I'm like, oh, it wasn't that bad. What are you talking about? Like, you were fine, and then you feel bad, and you're like, oh shoot. Or like I'll wake up and I'm like, wow, I feel great today. Maybe I'm cured. Like, it's just over. I'm like, you were lying the whole time. There was nothing that wrong with you. And it's so frustrating to just like constantly. It's like a cycle. People think like you'll just get over it, and you like go through it like once and you're used to it, and it's like, actually I go through the process of grief like every other week because I have to deal with it all over again. Whereas like other people are seeing it, they're like, ah, she's always in pain, like that's just normal for her. And I'm like, no, I'm like still not over it. Surprisingly, it's been years, and I'm like, this sucks and I hate it.
And it makes it hard to talk to people about, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it is hard because they expect you to be over it, and you're like,
Yep.
oh, this person's still talking about being sick. And it's like, yeah, but in
'Cause
the
I'm still
meantime,
sick.
I felt better, but then I
Yeah.
got sick again, but then I felt better. And it's like, it's a cycle that, yeah, people are like, well, okay, they just want to hear themselves talk. And that was always my concern
Yeah.
about sharing stuff online about how I'm feeling. It's like, I feel like every video, and for a while, every video was me being down because I felt down.
But that's fair.
I just didn't want to feel like I'm this constant, like, always talking about being sick and how I feel bad. And like,
Yeah.
it makes it tough though, because it makes it hard to connect to others that
Yeah.
aren't in chronic pain.
Yeah, it was so hard. And I mean, like, I was in my early 20s. It was so hard to connect with my friends. It was like, I just couldn't even be on the same wavelength as them or in the same world. And it was like, it's just crazy because people will be like, oh, so what's new with you? And you just have to be like, I'm still in pain. And they're like, okay, anything else? No. Like, what do you expect me? I can't be productive while going through this, right? And it's like,
it's true.
God. And after the APR and the gross muscle graph, my world also opened up, right? Same thing as you, like clouds parted. You're like, wow, like the world is different now. And I remember being like, I have so much opportunity and like so much open time where I'm not just actively suffering and like having to be like, wow, I have time to reflect and like think about everything I went through. It's so hard to explain that feeling to someone. It's like coming out of jail and being like, wow, I can see the sun for the first time.
Yeah, it's a really big deal, and I'm so grateful. I still feel like that. Like, even just sitting here, not having a fistula to deal with or drains in my bottom, it's just like,
Yeah.
I could breathe.
Yeah. And so like going through all this is like, what advice do you have for anyone else who is going through something like this, like perianal Crohn's or like suffering with this, you know, like what could you tell them do you think would help them go through it? Or like, what could you have told your past self that would have helped you go through it?
Two things that come to mind right away.
Yeah.
If you have anything that is from your like GI tract, stomach down to your anus, anything, make sure you see GI. Get imaging, request imaging, get a colonoscopy, get a pelvic MRI. Just don't screw around with it. Like, I wish I would have gotten imaging way sooner. I just would never have known to do it because I didn't know what any of this was. I just had a pain in my butt and I didn't know why it wasn't going away. So, one, go see specialists and don't see general surgeons. You probably get that one too, right?
Yeah.
Because general surgeons, they know a little about a lot, but not, this, especially with how specific IBD is. Like, see specialist. That's number one. Number two is don't deal with it by yourself. Share, whether it's with a friend, whether it's with family. Just don't try to manage it alone. That's where I was probably like in my darkest stages mentally, was when I was just trying to deal with it alone and was suffering in silence essentially. And I eventually talked to a friend and had a call and explained to him how low I actually was and realized I was not in a good place mentally. And he helped just listen and just be there. But that was kind of the first moment where I was like, oh, like sharing and not keeping this in is a really, really important thing. Yeah. And, for the past few years, I've been in therapy almost weekly, and that's helped a lot. Even just getting it out of your head and just being able to share is a really, really big deal. I think it's not good when we try to deal with this alone.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Thank you so much for that, because I wish someone gave me that advice before, but you know, you live and you
Same.
learn. We can give it to someone else.
Exactly.
So we're reaching the end of the podcast, but I did want to get on to my favorite segment, which is the talk your shit segment. So you just kind of get a minute to talk your shit about anything you want to talk about. It can be medical related. It doesn't have to be. Just like go off, undisturbed, rant, whatever you want.
Oh, what could this be? There's lots of things that get me going. Um, okay, I've got one. And I don't know how this hasn't been solved, actually. And you won't have this problem, but for guys, for guys, it's a thing. And I haven't seen a good solution for it. Maybe this is just a product idea. I don't know. But whenever you pee in a urinal, or even sometimes a toilet, like, you're getting splashback every time. So you're basically pissing on yourself anytime you pee in a urinal. And I don't care what anybody says. Unless you like have a really gentle flow, which you gotta pee, and I don't know anybody that has that gentle of a flow where you're not gonna get splashback. So all we're doing when we're peeing in urinals, honestly, is just pissing on ourselves, which is absurd that in the year 2026, we're still pissing on ourselves.
Wait,
So
I didn't know this was a thing. No one ever admitted this. No guy
we're all
I've ever
pissing on
talked to has
ourselves.
ever told
Yeah.
me this happens.
You ask any guy, and if they're honest with you, especially it gets really weird when you wear flip-flops and you're just bare, like you don't have any socks on. You feel it. You feel it. No guy has ever gone to piss in a urinal with flip-flops on and no socks and not felt them piss on themselves. That's a fact. So, yeah, guys are still pissing on themselves today. It's just
Wow.
true.
I need to. I'm like making a mental list of every guy I know that I'm going to ask this, because
Yeah, yeah. Don't let them lie to you either.
This is a real problem. Like every
Yeah,
time.
if you're wearing shorts, you'll feel the splashback on your legs. It's a real problem.
Why hasn't this been solved?
You see like some mats that are kind of on the urinals, and even those though, I still get splashback. And it's not just because I have like a super strong flow of piss. That's not the reason.
Maybe it's just you. No. So
I sure hope not. I actually haven't had this conversation with other guys, so I will be curious.
So do you think if they like change the height of the urinal, like what if they made it low? Like, do you?
No, because I'll try the low one. And all that does is bring it closer to your feet, and then you're getting even more splash. I've tried this too. Yeah, I don't know what the answer
Wow.
is.
That's so frustrating. Like
I mean, even in
genuinely.
a toilet, to be honest, even in a toilet,
Yeah.
you're either going to pee on the ceramic, which is also going to splash, but even if you pee directly in the bowl where the water is, you're going to get splashed there. We don't have a good answer.
I thought like splashback would stop with having like an ostomy. It's like, all right, you don't deal with that, but you still have to deal with it. That
There's
sucks.
splashback all over the place.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's like women still. I mean, we still squat, right? I'm not about to put my bare ass down on like a public toilet. So
No,
it's
no,
like
no.
you still
Don't
have to
do it.
squat. It's going to the bathroom in public is just never enjoyable for anyone. I think we need to
No.
solve this. This needs to.
No.
We have to make something for urinals. I don't know what, but we have to invent it.
Look, there's a reason you don't see urinals in homes. Splashback. That's why.
I did not think about that. That
I don't know
makes
if that's
so
true.
much sense.
I don't know if that's true. Maybe it's just not economical, but yeah, in my head it's splash.
Oh man, that's such a great note to end on. Oh wow, we're gonna solve that. But in the meantime, thank you so much, Rob, for taking the time out to come and do this. I know it's not easy. I know like you've still been recovering, and I hope you haven't had to like shift in your. I mean, I don't even use a cushion. Sometimes I've been shifting in my seat a lot, so I know how you feel. I just hope things go really well for you now. Like, I just hope everything else is behind you and you just have a great recovery and come back and just do whatever you want. Like, just live your life and be happy. That's all
That
I
is
can
the
hope
goal.
for you. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And
Yeah, of course.
yeah, I love the work you're doing in the space. it means a lot, honestly. I mean, every conversation we can have that normalizes this stuff a little bit is such a big deal. So
Yeah.
thank you for inviting me and having me on. Really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much, Rob.
Thank you all for listening to today's episode. I know that I had such a great time talking to Rob, and it felt like such a breath of fresh air to talk to somebody who just really, really knows what it feels like to go through having perianal Crohn's disease and a life outside of that too. So thank you again for listening, and I can't wait to come back and see you all soon. Bye.